All right, so we're gonna talk about something new here, shifting to long run. And it's gonna involve our market graph, so we're gonna need to include this market graph over here. We don't need to go over all of the details of how much profit on this one. What I want you to focus on is what happens in the shift in the market and what happens to Mr. DARP as a result and where it ends up. So we have here clearly a profitable firm. The price is above average total cost at the short run quantity of 300. Our quantity of max profit is 300. This is where MR equals MC. That does not change, okay, until the market changes. Again, we're assuming that Joe the wheat farmer represents all farmers in the wheat industry, and this is a profitable industry. Ignore the fact that he is making only, what, $600, okay? Profit is profitable. Don't get overly philosophical about how profitable. All right, so if it's a profitable industry, what's gonna happen in the market? Well, firms, other farmers are going to go to the wheat market. Corn farmers, soybean farmers are like, hey, the wheat market's the place to go. So if there's more producers in the wheat market, that's gonna increase our supply. All right? So what's gonna end up happening is the supply is going to keep increasing until we end up at what's called long-run equilibrium. And long-run equilibrium is going to take place, and I'll show this in a separate graph later, where MC hits ATC at its lowest point, okay? That'll be essentially create a break-even graph. And so now this point, which I told you to not pay attention to before, this 250 is gonna be our long-run quantity, and our long-run price is a little bit below that $10 mark, so we'll make that $9. What's gonna happen is supply is going to increase, creating a new Mr. DARP. So the Mr. DARP is gonna go down. I'm gonna try to line this up over here. So this is gonna be how much supply is gonna increase. Here's my new supply curve. Supply is gonna increase this much, push, 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 and Mr. DARP comes down, 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 like Jay Sean, and this is gonna be our new equilibrium price and quantity. At $9 will be the long run price, and $2.50 the long run quantity. Okay, so just drawing real quickly what the new equilibrium looks like. Well, this is $9 at a quantity of $2.50. Our average total cost now comes directly right through ATC. That is our new long run situation, okay? So again, Mr. DARP comes down. I know it gets, somewhat clogged in here, but this is our end result. So to find your long run price and quantity, you just find where MC hammers ATC at its lowest point, and that becomes our long run price and quantity, okay? And as you may predict, we want to do the same thing if there's a loss. Again, we'll end up in long run equilibrium for the opposite reason, right? Because if firms are experiencing losses in the short run, well, wheat farmers are gonna say, I want nothing to do with the wheat industry anymore, so some of them are gonna leave. Well, if firms leave, the supply in the industry decreases, pushing the price up. So we'll just go quickly through a scenario like that. Here's my MC, here's my first Mr. DARP. Here's my average total cost. We'll say price is $10 and this is $2.50. Well, right here, this is gonna be, well, let me put in the average total cost first in the short run. Here's $13. this point right here, where MC hammers ATC, I'll make that 280, just to be a little bit different. This is gonna be our long run quantity, okay? And we'll create our long run price. So again, we're gonna need the graph of the market over here. The original price is set at $10. Well, again, this is not an attractive industry. There's losses being experienced, right? This rectangle right here between 13 and 10, that represents all the losses that are taking place. Firms are gonna leave the industry. Well, if they leave the industry, the supply shifts to the left, okay? And I'll try to line it up as best I can. Supply shifts to the left, pushing the price up to what will be the new long run price, and we'll say that that's $12 at the new long run quantity at 280 right here. Okay, so just drawing that graph real quickly, we're gonna have the long run price of $12 and MC and ATC, there's a triple intersection, and that's what long run equilibrium looks like. Okay, so those are the shifts that take place to create the long run equilibrium. All right, and I'm just gonna talk about one more thing, and then we'll be done with the video. So I think if I get everything in, 3 videos total. So probably the easiest graph you're gonna create will be the long run equilibrium graph. So it is possible that a firm starts at break even, but typically we think of this graph as what will happen in the long run to a market. And please remember that economics and these graphs are theoretical models. Of course, not every firm is identical to every other firm. It's to convey trends or what is happening in an industry. All right, so here's my quantity of max profit. Well, if it's break even or at long run equilibrium, average total cost has to equal the price. Well, for average total cost to equal the price, it has to take place at the quantity where MR equals MC. Well, if MC hits ATC at its lowest point, there is only one place that this curve can be, and we will have a triple intersection. That is the long run equilibrium graph, where MR equals MC is the same place as where MC equals ATC. Doesn't matter what the price and quantity are. Total revenue equals total cost, and the profit is equal to 0. Okay, so this is long run equilibrium or break even, or a term we're going to use in the future called normal profit. The last thing I want to talk about is the fourth possibility for a firm, which is a shutdown situation. So we need to bring back an old friend when price is less than our old friend average variable cost. So if a firm is losing money, they'll stay in business to try to reduce their losses. But if we have a situation where here's Mr. Dark, here's our marginal cost. Well, if our average total cost is here, yes, there's definitely a loss taking place. But if our average variable cost, we're going to draw in the average variable cost curve. Remember, it looks like a cornucopia with average total cost. We have this strip here. Well, here's our quantity of max profit. Here's our average variable cost. Here's our average total cost. Well, this is the trick question, which I will probably put on a quiz. I'll say, where will the firm produce at what quantity And you're gonna be like, well, 150, because that's the quantity of max profit where MR equals MC. Well, we're shutting down. We're gonna produce zero, okay? Because the reason why you produce more than zero when you're at a loss is you're reducing your losses. Well, here, with each additional sale, we're losing even more money. We're not getting any of our fixed costs back. Okay, so one of the reasons why restaurants are staying in business while taking a loss is they're getting some of their fixed costs back. Well, if your price is less than your average variable cost, okay, you're losing even more money with each additional sale, so you're gonna shut down, okay? So we've got 4 possibilities: profit, loss, long run equilibrium, and shutdown scenario, okay? And I'm gonna post exactly what you're gonna need to graph. These videos should help. If you see average variable cost, 9 times out of 10, the question is about a shutdown situation, okay? Have a good weekend.